An employee at Anthropic just accidentally leaked their source code. We found models that were buried in the code. Is there a security risk for your information if you're using Claude? And some other interesting finds with 500,000 lines of code being leaked. How did this happen and what does this mean for you? Well, let's find out in this video. So if you notice, Claude posts almost every single day all the updates they constantly ship, but they don't say a word about this, at least not on the main page, which is understandable. This is a pretty big developer mistake. But don't worry, I broke it down for you here. On March 31st, which is today, the day that I'm recording this video, a map file from their CLI was released. I'm not going to go into all the fancy jargon here. I just kind of want to go what exactly happened. So 500,000 lines of code, as I said, were leaked, which include the architecture. So actually somebody attempted to copy and paste this. I want to show it to you later. Features, system prompts, telemetry. This is like a gold mine for Claude competitors. If I'm OpenAI and I'm for some reason not locked in right now, if I'm OpenAI, I'm eating this up. If I'm a competitor, I'm eating this up because it's kind of like revealing your hand if you're playing a card game. So the client tool was revealed, the CLI. And basically they could go through all of it, and they actually got AI models to do this. I'll show you in just a bit. But as far as what was not leaked is the AI model weights, training data, backend servers, user conversations, or API keys. In that user conversations or the API keys, that means that you as a user are safe. So ultimately, your conversations aren't going to be leaked to everybody that was able to look at the source code and now has and distributes it. However, with releasing the source code comes people that might be able to find security vulnerabilities who could possibly try to attack later. So the impact for users, probably you watching this video, is almost zero. And normal interactions with Claude via web app or API are unaffected. No risk to your data or accounts from this leak. But again, as I was saying earlier, this is a huge deal to other developers because they're actually able to kind of take some of that information and put the prompt handling, permissions, and architecture back into their own hands. And the broad takeaway here would be that this is just a big oops for Anthropic, and basically the PR, hasn't really been able to handle it yet. And there's been a lot of memes, and it's kind of I guess maybe any publicity is good publicity. But I want to get into kind of the fun stuff as well. One of the fun things is kind of seeing some of the model leaks. Now, I didn't read this specifically, but this is by Josh Kale, who is, I believe he is the co-host of Bankless. I should know him, but I don't know him really well. But he talks about the 4 secret features that weren't announced, and these are actually really cool. It's Buddy, Kairos, which we actually talked about Kairos on this channel. You could watch the previous video on that. Ultra Plan and Coordinator Mode. And these do really cool things. The Buddy is a Tamagotchi-style AI pet that lives next to your input box. 18 species, rarity tiers, shiny variants, permanent personality, and the teaser is supposed to drop tomorrow, which is April 1st. And the whole thing would be launched in May of 2026. Happy birthday to me, Big 31, for having this. To me, this is the coolest thing that out of all the other features that I saw, is to have this AI pet that kind of works with you. Kairos is the next one, and that's an always-on Claude, a persistent agent that runs across sessions, watching logs, and proactively acts without you typing anything. Has a nightly dreaming cycle that consolidates its memory. So this would be really cool at basically going through your previous conversations, studying them, implementing new styles. This is almost like the heartbeat, I believe, of OpenClaw, which is the one thing really that disadvantage that Claude has to OpenClaw now, is the heartbeat. And then the Ultra Plan, a 30-minute deep planning session in the cloud. Claude explores and builds plans you approve or reject in your browser, and you can teleport the session to your local terminal when you're ready. This is huge. This is think about when you set it to thinking. This is an ultra mode of that, which I would have to guess would probably come on the new model that's coming out, which is Mythos, or I think Alpaca is the other name for it, which there's speculation that this could be a $2,000 a month model. Again, I have a full video at that. You can watch that. I posted it just a few days ago. And then there's Coordinator Mode, One Claude spawns multiple workers Claudes in parallel. Workers report back with status, token usage, duration, multi-agent orchestration built directly into the CLI. So this is basically like what OpenClaw's advantage is you have everybody spinning over these multiple agents that go work on different projects and communicate with each other. And we've seen like every single day of March that Claude is basically just climbing the ranks of being able to be a top OpenClaw competitor, other than the fact that it's not open source, of course, which is a big difference here, and that's a whole different set of issues. But these are pretty freaking cool. I'll like briefly leave these up on the screen for you if you want to pause them. This guy actually was able to just kind of like take these clean screenshots of them. But this pretty much what I just said is a good overview of what these are. But again, if you want to see more information on them, I'll leave it here, and I'll probably even leave this post that in the description. The last thing I want to say is that somebody was actually trying to trying to fork it. So as soon as this was leaked, somebody attempted to fork it, and they got 32.6K stars on the fork. And of course, by that point, they're getting so much traction that they were scared that they were going to get sued. So what they did was they converted the entire code base from TypeScript to Python with Codex, and because they basically tried to copy and paste it into their own model. Now, this is something that isn't very practical. You're not just going to be able to copy and paste the source code and have your own Claude. It's a lot more complex than that. But I mean, whoever was able to do that in this small amount of time obviously isn't just a scrub using AI just to copy stuff over and paste it to the other thing. They obviously knew what they were doing a little bit to be able to get this up and live on GitHub, and to get this far. It also gets you kind of spinning into like what copyright means for AI. Because here, if he's trying to erase the copyright by moving it to Python, I guess the argument is trying to say that algorithms and code, or algorithms specifically, can't be copyright violations. But anyways, this is a pretty interesting fork. This whole situation is interesting. It's definitely a bad PR leak for Claude. But ultimately, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I'm a big Claude user. To me, they're the best model out there for the best value. I pay for the $100 a month plan, and I get maximum usage out of it. I never have a problem with it. So ultimately, while this is a fork in the road, if you will, while there was a hiccup, it is what it is. Developers make mistakes. I'm surprised this hasn't happened with any other company like OpenAI or anything like that, but it is what it is. Your information is safe. We got some good juicy leaks, and that's pretty much that's pretty much all of it. So hope you guys like this video. Give me a subscribe or a follow, and I'll see you guys next video.